Okay, this is Evie, the Jersey genius, smartest man in the world, coming back to you. I was doing a video on this booklet that I have my Nobel Prize application that I actually submitted to someone associated with the Nobel Prize, but it's for educational purposes only. I shot a whole video, explained the whole book, and then I found out the video stopped halfway through or something, so I have to redo it until today. So I'll just, if I start where I left off and then come back and then I can do the beginning. I think I was somewhere, I just explained, I believe, this stuff. Which is, so this is the continuation. This is this little statue they would give to, they put in with the mummies, and it holds little things, and they call these, they're saying that these are hoes for digging and for farming and for the pharaohs. And I said, well, it's all explained in here. You can zoom in and read that if you freeze frame and get the other side too at the same time while you're at it. But I said it was stupid because the pharaohs would not do any farming. So, and they put these in to help them navigate the stars. So I thought from this, I cut it out, and then I figured I made this tool, which is a Davis quadrant. And it turns out that since the Egyptians were making so much rope, they came to prosperity with the hat of the king, which is the rope tool. And they ended up becoming the best navigators on the entire planet. So it made sense that they would have such great navigation tools, which we did not discover until many years later, like thousands. And then I included in here too, from Arcana Books. This is the art show that I did several years ago, in which someone from the National Gallery of Scotland, Mr. Skint, said very nice things. Said it was the best art show he saw in Los Angeles. So this is in this book, which you can, if I do, you contact Arcana, because I may send them some more. Oh, and then it was like the last page was here, and it just talks about the Big Bang Theory and all kinds of things that I explain. If I can freeze frame and freeze frame. But then I added addendums, which when I look at something like this, this guy was sitting over here, even though the colors are all messed up. But I have taught myself, that the hats tell you something about the job of the person. And this person's hat was a mesh. And I thought this thing he might be sitting into, which they call a offering table, it looked too functional. So it was a need for offering. So I thought, since this was mesh, what if his hat was related to net making? So I decided to, as I began to look at this, if you look real close, there's grooves cut in these pegs. It seems like it would rotate. One side is smooth, one side edge is not. So this thing is, and it's off center. So it's telling me this thing rotates, there's something about it. So I went and made one up of my own, as you can see here, with the same type of the cuts, the grooves, and I also had a hole in it, because if it was a net maker, and I would be able to rotate it and sit still and yet spin around. Nobody's ever made nets using a tool like this, as far as we know. And this, which is amazing, once I cut this hole in, I realized is one of the hieroglyphs on the same page. So it proves the functionality of the hieroglyphs is telling you something, like you have to be in the know to understand it. So then I did, I used it, and the thing actually worked. You could actually make nets with it. Here's the net I was making, and ran out of some rope. But then it turns out, when you really go, it's really just a blown-up version, large-scale version of the net maker that kids use for making socks and hats and stuff. And what is a scarf? Like scarf. What is a scarf? It's just a big old net. You know, goes right across. Or a net's just a big old scarf. And then I did another addendum. I realized that the Egyptians were they always do these stilted hand gestures on a lot of things. And then I figured out with the clear glass they were able to do surveying. So I thought, well, let me see if I begin to compare what a surveyor would do, like the hand. Just watch the hands. Hands, hands. Surveyor, hands, hands. I felt they would be doing the same language and have it available. And surveyor, hand, hand. Surveyor, hand, hand. Surveyor, hand, hand. They're actually doing semaphore in their statues, which explains the stilted way that they do their stuff. And then I included a picture of my workshop in this little booklet, which explains how Boonsburg eggs are made, how to make one, and also has all the props from Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Man from U.N.C.L.E., all the TOS shows, and also I found the crystal ball from the Wizard of Oz, which I have the big check blown up right there. And then on the back page I had the tool. That's the rope making tool. So all of the hieroglyphs are actually tools, which is explained within this. And if anybody was wondering if they can't see, for instance, when I was explaining early on about the King Tut hat, it's just a palm leaf. It was a sun hat. So here, I'm going to do like this. You can blow this up. If you freeze frame, you can read that. And freeze frame, you can read that. And it'll explain how King Tut's beard was simply just like one of these things, like, keep his hat on, just like cowboy hats. And you can read that. And then here you can read that. And then read that. And this might be a little tough. You can read that. And then that, maybe you can read it. Read that, because he explains all the tools. And you can read that if you freeze frame. And then there's my video, and you can read more here. Freeze frame. And then there was this, which shown you before. You can read the top, and then read about David's quadrant, and then read this. You freeze frame it, I think you can. And then there's a Boonsburg egg, and a small one, but that room can roll a ton. And then this is freeze frame, and then you can look this one up online. It's still Arcana. They have the thing still there. You can read that. I think I got one more page. So this is this page. You can read that.